Okay, so this dropped yesterday evening, and when I saw it, man, it threw me for a loop. But we all kind of predicted that ultimately this was going to happen. I just personally didn't think this was going to happen this soon. But Skip Bayless is leaving Fox Sports 1 Undisputed later this summer, according to several reports. Sports talk personality Skip Bayless is leaving Fox Sports 1 Undisputed later this summer, according to multiple reports. Bayless has been with Fox Sports for 8 years, joining the network in 2016 after a 12-year run at the worldwide leader of sports, ESPN. The New York Post was first to report this news. Fox Sports did not immediately respond to US Today Sports request for comment. This would be the second consecutive summer in which the show has had one of their key hosts departed. In June 2023, Pro Football Hall of Fame Shannon Sharpe left the show after working alongside Bayless since the show, since he joined the show. Sharpe then moved to ESPN's First Take, joining a well-known sports talk personality, Stephen A. Smith. Sharpe recently signed a multi-year contract extension with ESPN. Sharpe no longer on the show. They also added Pro Football Hall of Fame Michael Irvin, Keyshawn Johnson, Richard Sherman, as well as NBA legend Paul Pierce to fill in the void on Undisputed alongside Skip Bayless. The 72-year-old Skip Bayless has a media career that started back in the 1970s, covering sports such as a reporter, as far as working alongside the newspaper with the Miami Herald, the Los Angeles Times, and the Dallas Morning News. Okay, so that's all I got from this report on USA Today. You can go check out that at your leisure. And we're about to get into why ultimately this is going down. Now, the reason why I said earlier in the video I knew this was going to happen, but I didn't think it was going to happen this quickly, is people seem to forget that Skip Bayless signed another extension with Fox Sports 1. And it seemed like the executives, the powers that be at Fox Sports 1, had a great relationship with Skip Bayless. I thought that they was going to give Skip Bayless a little bit more time to get back his audience, particularly his core audience, when Shannon Sharpe left. Shannon Sharpe didn't leave on good standings at Fox Sports 1. There was really no connection with Shannon Sharpe and the new powers that be at Fox Sports 1 that are making these decisions. And I told you guys when Shannon Sharpe left last summer, a lot of people were pointing at Skip Bayless saying, well, he's the one. When you really have to think about it, logically, this was more of a business play than a personal vendetta or, choosing one over the other. And I said last summer, if they would have gave Shannon Sharpe a multi-year contract and extended him, and then you already done extended Skip Bayless, and you had both of these personalities on Undisputed, and even with those two there, Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless, they could not move the needle as far as overtaking and dethroning First Take. People seem to forget First Take was killing Undisputed with Shannon Sharpe. All right. So when Shannon Sharpe left Fox Sports 1, went to ESPN, it was just business as usual. Now, there were more additional people who loved Shannon Sharpe, who had an audience for Shannon Sharpe. A lot of them, went alongside Shannon Sharpe, and they were, beating Undisputed in the ratings. It was one point, it was 10-1, where, even the Undisputed YouTube channel and the Undisputed clips were losing value with ratings and viewership and things of that nature. Everyone seemed to just went with the juggernaut at ESPN. And when Shannon Sharpe joined Stephen A. Smith, they already had Pat McAfee locked in. They have already moved Troy Aikman and Joe Buck away from Fox Sports to ESPN, and now Monday Night Football is bigger, better than ever. Monday Night people seem to forget Monday Night Football was a snooze fest. There was and fans of Monday Night Football was really only watching Monday Night Football because of the football. But ever since they added Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, they've been hitting all strides, and it's back to the old days with Howard Cosell, as well as those other cats that made Monday Night Football what it was back then. Troy Aikman, Joe Buck is making Monday Night Football what it's supposed to be. With Pat McAfee, I feel like ESPN made a huge mistake not appreciating social media. And Pat McAfee, come from that lane. Now you got Shannon Sharpe, who kills it on social media, as well as an entrepreneur himself. He has his own podcast, Club Shay Shay. It's doing numbers, it's doing records. He's got a partnership with Colin Cowherd with The Volume. That's doing great as well. And let's just face it, and let's just be honest. Even Stevie Wonder can see this. Shannon Sharpe is more likable than Skip Bayless. Okay, Shannon Sharpe is going to say the things that are more popular and more trivial to sports fans, it's really casual sports fans, than what Skip Bayless would say. In essence, casual sports fans like Shannon Sharpe than Skip Bayless. All right, so when you got all that playing in, and I also think, and another thing, people are not going to give what I'm about to say a lot of thought, but it is kind of ironic to me when ESPN has just announced, I think it was 4 or 5 days ago, Stephen A. Smith signed a multi-year contract to stay with ESPN. And it's kind of ironic that they waited until the dust settled with Stephen A. Smith to now say to themselves, okay, let's just let go. Let's just cut our losses and let go of Skip Bayless. I think they were waiting on ESPN to make the same mistake what Fox Sports 1 did with Shannon Sharpe last summer, thinking that, well, ESPN is all in. They're not going to budge and not give Stephen A. Smith what he wants. And when Stephen A. Smith becomes a free agent, we already got his former host, Skip Bayless. He may just come back to Fox Sports 1. And I think that's what Fox Sports 1 was banking on. They knew, now they realize that they lost a huge asset with Shannon Sharpe. And it doesn't matter if you get Keyshawn Johnson. It doesn't matter if you get Michael Irvin. It doesn't matter if you get Richard Seymour, Paul Pierce. It doesn't matter if you get all those personalities. None of those personalities is going to equal a Shannon Sharpe. And that's what they were banking on. And it didn't work. So now, in order to replace a multi-talented person as a Shannon Sharpe, you need a personality that is equal or better. And I've been making several videos telling you guys that it would not surprise me none. Now hindsight is 50-50. Fox Sports 1 says, oh, we made a huge mistake. We made a huge gamble and we lost. We lost our shirt, our wallet, our pants, everything on the gamble that, oh, we can just plug and play anybody. Shannon Sharpe wasn't that good. And then when they saw the ratings and when they saw the numbers, oh, they realized they made a huge mistake But then they look on the outside looking in. They look at the possibility of Stephen A. Smith may no longer be with ESPN. They were looking at Charles Barkley, Turner Sports. They have ended their partnership with the NBA. Inside the NBA is no more. Maybe Charles Barkley would give us a talk, a cup of coffee, and we'll just give him whatever he wants. Maybe we can pair him with Skip Bayless. Yes, I know. Charles Barkley cannot stand Skip Bayless. And Charles Barkley is not going to help Skip Bayless keep his job. But it will make great television if you can get them two in a room and you listen to their views and you listen to their takes, okay? People were saying the same thing about Richard Sherman. People said, oh, no, Richard Sherman is not going to join forces with Skip Bayless. Now, I feel like the two are not the same, Charles Barkley and Richard Sherman. Charles Barkley is a heavily demand personality that everybody is going to try to purge and take away from Turner Sports once if he wants to leave Turner Sports, they're going to have to buy him out. I think he's under contract with Turner Sports for I think 4 or 5 more years. Even when the inside the NBA is no more, but I think there's an outlet it is an out in Charles Barkley's contract that if the show is no more, he can become a free agent. All right. And when I feel like Fox Sports 1 were saying, look, if we can get either one of these two juggernauts, Stephen A. Smith or a Charles Barkley, and pair them with Skip Bayless, Undisputed can get back into its glory days, maybe get into better glory days, and maybe they can finally be the first take killer. Remember, Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless 9 years ago were, I heard a lot of personalities, a lot of content creators on YouTube in the sports world saying, oh, this is going to be the first take killer. Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless, they're going to be the first take killers, okay? And it never resonated because, they had a couple of shows here and there where they were where they overtook ESPN's First Take. But I said then what I'm about to say now, and I've been saying this consistently, and nobody is not giving me my credit. ESPN is simply just in more households, folks. Still to this day, ESPN is still in more households than Fox Sports 1. Let that sink in. 2, ESPN is a bigger brand, is a bigger name than Fox Sports 1. Everyone around the world identifies with ESPN. When they see the words ESPN, they know exactly what that is. When you see Fox Sports 1, there's a lot of people around the world that just doesn't know what Fox Sports 1 ultimately is, okay? So, when you got all of that factoring in, it's just, there was no way that they were going to beat, ESPN, all right? So, let's talk about the future. If this is true, and like I said, Skip Bayless has not talked about this on any of his social media handles. Fox Sports 1 has really not talked about this, and none of their social media handles really. And this is sort of kind of like new. We might get some more credence to this later on today. Today is being Tuesday morning. This went down Monday night. So maybe later on Tuesday, we'll get a statement from Fox Sports 1 or Skip Bayless. But to me, if this is true, then this is the end of Skip Bayless. All right. There's really no other places Skip Bayless can go to. All right. He can't go back to a reduced role at Fox Sports 1. He's not a heavy commodity. And first, let's talk about Fox Sports 1. I think they're going to do one or two things this fall with Fox Sports 1. Fox Sports 1 is going to do with Undisputed. Undisputed, it will still carry on. They either going to let that take over the Carlson show, as far as early morning goes. Make it an hour show. Have Keyshawn, Michael Irvin occasionally drop in. I don't think Richard Sherman is coming back. They gambled with that and it just did not work out. Richard, they might hire somebody else, and maybe Paul Pierce may join Fox Sports 1. I don't know. I don't even know the future of Paul Pierce with Fox Sports 1. But I know for a fact Keyshawn Johnson is still going to be with Fox Sports 1. It's going to be earlier in the morning, and it might be the first show. It might take over the Carson show. Even though the Carson show made some strides, it didn't make huge strides. I think they're going to can the Carson show, or they're going to keep the Carson show and move Undisputed late in the afternoons. Okay? It's one of those two things. But Undisputed will still be in the rotation, but at a smaller capacity than what it is right now. Okay? Now, as far as Skip Bayless goes, I feel like Skip Bayless is going to, there's no future for him at Fox Sports 1. I don't see a future for him at ESPN. He's not a heavily demanding commodity unless if there was somewhat of a decent relationship or a decent friendship with Stephen A. Smith. The possibility of him joining back to ESPN will be more so if Stephen A. Smith throw him a bone, and he could be one of the guys that come in on First Take and debate maybe on Tuesdays and Wednesday's show, because I think Monday's show and Friday's show is Shannon Sharpe's domain. That's a possibility. Who knows? Shannon Sharpe. I don't see Shannon Sharpe, welcoming. I mean, he'll welcome Skip Bayless, but I don't see Shannon Sharpe doing him a solid and saying, "Hey, let's just get Skip Bayless to ESPN." So I just don't see any of those angles playing out on either network. I think his run as far as television goes is a wrap. I just don't see any network wanting to sign Skip Bayless. For what? Skip Bayless works best with someone that, he partners up with someone who is likable in social media, who is likable on television, and Skip Bayless comes in as that cowboy with the black hat, the maverick, the bad guy. And, the guy that, people love to hate, and, Skip Bayless with his takes, something like that. I think he works better that way with a partner, a likable partner. This just proves, and it just goes to show, and Skip Bayless is going to have a little egg on his face. Skip Bayless was really feeling himself, thinking, people come to see me. You can plug and play me with anybody, and it's all good in the hood. I just don't see that to the effect. He needs to be on a show that he in lines with someone that they like. Okay, because obviously people hate Skip Bayless. Everyone hates Skip Bayless's takes. Okay, I think a lot of things hurt Skip Bayless. The Hamilton situation, where he believed that the Buffalo Bills should have just kept playing. I think that really hurt Skip Bayless. I also think that the issue with him and Shannon Sharpe has done bigger. He's actually bigger than he was at Fox Sports 1, which we all knew that. Okay. When you look at Skip Bayless, now I heard someone say this on YouTube. Well, maybe Skip Bayless could just do his own podcast, excuse me, and just interview different sports personalities. Unless I don't see an audience where people would want Skip Bayless to interview. I think when Skip Bayless was doing the interview side of things, it was back in the 1970s. A lot has changed from the 70s to now. I don't think today's star wants to sit with Skip Bayless. I think Skip Bayless has some connections with some athletes, have some connections with some stars. But I don't think there's a huge line of people that's waiting to go, oh, pick me. I want Skip Bayless to interview me. Okay? Now, can Skip Bayless turn this around? Can he turn this negative into a positive? Can he go out on his own and do what Shannon Sharpe did? Skip Bayless, in order for that to happen, first of all, a leopard, he's not going to change his stripes. Okay? He's not going to change overnight and start being likable. Okay? That's not going to happen. That's not, a lot of people are not going to fall for that. Skip Bayless is going to be Skip Bayless. All right? In order for him to turn around, he's going to have one of those amazing interviews that, makes his popularity just skyrocket and through the roof. He's going to have a Cat Williams type of interview, similar to what Shannon Sharpe did. First and foremost, before Cat Williams, I think Shannon Sharpe was heading in this direction regardless of that interview. I just think with that interview, people starting to notice and starting to appreciate Shannon Sharpe on an interview level. Okay? But for Skip Bayless, he had to have one of those Cat Williams type interviews where he gets to talk to someone that is not a interview type person, who doesn't do a lot of interviews. If Skip Bayless can get Michael Jeffrey Jordan to do a one-on-one interview with him, that would be pretty dope. Now, Tom Brady has already signed his deal to do football for Fox Sports 1. And I saw Tom Brady everywhere. I saw Tom Brady on the Colin Cowherd show. I saw Tom Brady's clips on the other shows, First Things First, Speak, and things of that nature. But, I never saw Tom Brady come into the studios of Fox Sports 1. And I assume the way how Skip Bayless, put him on a pedestal and, was just, milking off Tom Brady, that would have been great for Skip Bayless. And when I noticed that Tom Brady didn't come to Undisputed or got, spent time with Skip Bayless, that was the beginning of that was like some tea leaves that, like, yeah, this is not looking good for Skip Bayless, and he's not going to be at Fox Sports 1 that long. All right? But on his own, if he can do an interview with someone that doesn't really do interviews, he can turn this around. Like Michael Jordan. Would Michael Jordan do that? No, because Michael Jordan don't need Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless is going to have to do some major butt kissing to get someone like that. Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark has not done a major interview. And Caitlin Clark is getting super popular. Would Caitlin Clark welcome Skip Bayless to do an interview with her? Possibly. But Caitlin Clark really doesn't need Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless and his team would have to really, push this to Caitlin Clark team. I think that's a possibility. I think that's one of those type of interviews that would elevate Skip Bayless. I don't know if it would skyrocket Skip Bayless, but it would elevate Skip Bayless. But you knew that this was coming. You had an inkling that this was coming. I just didn't think it was going to come this soon. Maybe give him 2 years and then this drops, and it, but everyone knew that this was coming. And look, I don't want to see anybody get fired or lose their job. Okay. When Shannon Sharpe lost his job, no longer working for Fox Sports 1, I didn't want to see that. And I felt kind of sorry for him. But when I was talking about it, I was being impartial and saying, well, I think it's these reasons why he's no longer with Fox Sports 1. And that's why I didn't see this being a personal vendetta decision that, okay, Skip Bayless no longer want to deal with Shannon Sharpe. I think it was more to do with that. And I'm not going to regurgitate, just watch those videos. But basically, I just say it was more of a money situation than something personal. Okay. And that's why he's not with Fox Sports 1. And I think this is the same situation, the same dealio with Skip Bayless. We're paying him X amount of dollars, they being Fox Sports 1, but we're getting below production from this move, and it's not, elevating us to where we're supposed to be. And they say we have to stop the bleeding somehow. Now, I feel like with this move, and also with this move, it would not surprise me if Colin Cowherd leaves Fox Sports 1 and go back to ESPN, and ESPN would love to have him, or he just go and still do the volume and still do his thing. It would not surprise me if Colin Cowherd leaves Fox Sports 1, and it just would. I feel like with these decisions, I feel like Fox Sports 1 ultimately is just bowing out of competing with ESPN, because there's no way in the world you can compete with ESPN. ESPN is in a stratosphere by themselves, and they're going to dominate Fox Sports 1 no matter who they get. Fox, not a lot of the big time personalities don't want to, are not, waking up every morning going, oh man, I want to work at Fox Sports 1. The big time personalities are going, oh man, I would love to have a sports show. I wonder if I can do some business with ESPN. Charles Barkley is going to retire. He already said he's going to retire. But if Charles Barkley wants to join a network, he's going to join ESPN over Fox Sports 1. And it's just the facts. I don't think Fox Sports 1 is going to throw a ton of money and make an offer that Charles Barkley cannot refuse. If it would have gotten that bad with ESPN and Stephen A. Smith, it would take a lot of money to get Stephen A. Smith to Fox Sports 1, and I just don't think Fox Sports 1 is willing to do this. You're witnessing Fox Sports 1 going back to the days of having, rodeos at 6, 7 in the morning. Old recorded programs from last weekend, the college game or the swimming event or track and field. They're regurgitating back to what they were before, they started getting this motion and getting all these people from ESPN. Fox Sports 1 is realizing why ESPN was letting go of all of these personalities that they done signed. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth paying these sports personalities this big time money, and you're not getting a big time return in it. Okay? And you started seeing the tea leaves when Jason Whitlock went on his merry way. Okay. Shannon Sharpe. Now Skip Bayless. You're starting to see the tea leaves, and you're starting to see how they're lined up. It seems like Fox Sports 1 is regurgitating back to the old Fox Sports 1 where they had rodeos at 5, 6 in the morning. What does it mean for if Colin Cowherd leaves Fox Sports 1 and go back to ESPN? I think they're going to downsize their other shows. The shows are already downsized. When you look, even first things first, it's not what it once was when they had Chris Carter. All right, they have really downsized first things first. As far as employees go, as the own their talent. First Take is not the First Take like it was years ago. When you look at Speak, it used to be called Speak for Yourself. It was Colin Cowherd's afternoon show. Okay, that had Jason Whitlock and Colin Cowherd occasionally. Colin Cowherd left. Is no longer dealing with that show. They did it with Marcellus Wiley and Jason Whitlock. Jason Whitlock was let go of, and then a couple of years after that, I forgot his name already. Marcellus Wiley left. Okay, and now they're doing their own things on YouTube. And if you look at YouTube, YouTube ain't what it once was 5 or 6 years ago. Remember how everyone was saying, well, why sign a major contract with a major network when I can make my own money, I can be my own boss, I can go independent, and I can make my own YouTube channel. It's easier said than done. I think the more successful people that still use YouTube are Shannon Sharpe. Stephen A. Smith has gotten into the space, but Stephen A. Smith is no Shannon Sharpe. Skip Bayless has recently got into the YouTube space, but he's not a bigger entity than Shannon Sharpe. And Marcellus Wiley is figuring that out. Okay. Jason Whitlock, with his left-wing perspective and what he thinks about his, causing drama and stuff like that, as Jason Whitlock even had to downsize. And Jason Whitlock is not as big as Shannon Sharpe. But, they're getting in what they can fit in, okay? I just don't see Skip Bayless' future into that. If Skip Bayless does his own podcast, he's going to put up a lot of his money to get. I just don't see an audience that wants to listen to Skip Bayless that way. I don't see a network wanting Skip Bayless because, ESPN really don't need Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless needs ESPN. There's not a network out there that's, on the dying end saying, oh, let's take a chance on Skip Bayless. I just don't see that. Skip Bayless, just doing social media or YouTube. I don't see a huge audience for him doing that. I think he'll do it and make some coin, but not no major coin. He's not going to be in the same stratosphere as a Shannon Sharpe. And I told you what it would take for him to get into that type of level, and I just don't see it happening because no one's clamoring to beat down the door of Skip Bayless. I'm sorry. It's just speaking facts. So I think this is ultimately the end of Skip Bayless on television. Maybe he'll still be a content creator for YouTube, make his own channel. Maybe people would subscribe, and he's going to have to. Hey, look, pride comes with the fall. He's going to have to massage his ego. He's not as big as what he thought he was, and he can make some noise on YouTube. I think he can get well over 50,000 subscribers. Particularly if he has that one show or that one clip that goes viral, he will have to bank on going viral by saying something controversial, or he interviews someone. He has his own Cat Williams sort of say, and it elevates him. I think another thing, Mad Dogs, like satellite radio, Mad Dog Sports would love to have Skip Bayless. He'll have to swallow his pride. He would have to work. I think Mad Dog would and I'm calling it before any, because I don't think anyone else is saying this. Would not surprise me none if he joins Mad Dog Sports on satellite radio. I think satellite radio is the way to go for Skip Bayless. I mean, Skip Bayless is getting older. I don't, and Skip Bayless does not pose to me as someone that, I'm still a big time star, and flexing. Skip Bayless really doesn't need the money. He doesn't really need to work. Skip Bayless has made money. He hasn't, so and two, he is a drama queen, but a drama queen in a different way. Skip Bayless will be all right if he's done with sports. He would be fine. But I think the reason why Skip Bayless works because he loves to talk about sports. And he needs to be on a platform like Mad Dog Sports. Or something to that effect. Or he can do his own content. So, yeah, we'll just keep circle talking. But, yeah, this is the end of Skip Bayless with Fox Sports 1. Again, once I upload this video, things could probably change. And they confirm it. Fox Sports 1 confirms it. And Skip Bayless confirms it. But this is what sources are telling everybody on social media. And we all knew that this day was coming. I just didn't suspect it to come this fast. I mean, last summer, you got rid of Shannon Sharpe. And maybe this is Fox Sports 1's grand finale plan anyway. You get rid of one person that you had to pay max money to that wasn't really contributing with, make of a big impact in your ratings or a big impact in your network. Okay, even though he was popular, they still couldn't beat First Take, and they were not the number one show. That's from the beginning to the end. And now, they're getting rid of Skip Bayless. And maybe this is a big grand scheme for Fox Sports 1. They want to get rid of these two titans, these two, and this is from Fox Sports 1 perspective, not my perspective. I think they're thinking, look, this is not translating to what we thought it was going to be. We're just wasting money. We're still the second best show, the third best show, even with these two guys here. And we still can't beat First Take. We still can't beat ESPN. And oh, by the way, they signed Pat McAfee. And oh, by the way, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman is at ESPN. There's no stopping this train. Why are we trying to compete with them? It is what it is. Let's just cut our losses. Buy out Shannon Sharpe. Obviously, they're going to buy out Skip Bayless. I think Skip Bayless got a year, maybe 2 years, with Fox Sports 1, and they're ready to buy him out. And they still keep Undisputed. I think everything that Skip Bayless embedded in Undisputed will probably go away. I don't think Lil Wayne is going to do any more appearances on Undisputed. I think Keyshawn Johnson will still stay on Undisputed. I think the reason why Michael Irvin has a job with Fox Sports 1 is largely due to Skip Bayless. He's obviously going to be gone at Undisputed. It's just going to be Keyshawn Johnson, Paul Pierce, and that's it. Okay. Rachel Nichols, who started at Fox Sports 1 on Undisputed, now you're starting to see her make the rounds with the Herd show, with the First Things First. You might see a clip or two from her there. I mean, they were pulling everything to keep Undisputed up there, and they just couldn't do it. So if this is an end of an era, it was a hell of a ride for Skip Bayless. He gets to go out on the sunset. I know people are going to love this news. To me, to be fair, when you look at sports media, having no Skip Bayless there, that means ESPN is no longer going to compete. Well, they wasn't even competing in the first place with Fox Sports 1. But I just like the different dynamics of the show. I like listening to First Take. Then sometimes I like listening to Undisputed, then bouncing back to First Take. Now it's just going to be all First Take all the time. There's nothing there on Fox Sports 1 for me to just gravitate to. Okay? And it is what it is. But that's all I got for today. I'm sorry that the video was extremely long, but I had a lot to say. I read that article, and you guys love to hear my analysis and what I think. And this is what I'm thinking as of right now. So it is what it is. I appreciate everyone that got into this part of the video. And since you're at the part of this video, could you please subscribe to the channel? Can you please hit the like button? And can you please share this with your friends, family, and as well as your followers? So that's all I got. I will see you guys. And maybe I'll do another video and just talk about when this is concrete and confirmed, we can talk about it a little bit more. Okay, particularly if there's something that was said in the report that we don't know now. All right, so I'm up out of here. Deuces.